by Alone just killing basically all the reinforcements that just lined up. So Alone is definitely holding his own in this game, despite having virtually no way to know how good he is versus Terran. So this game will be a mystery to everyone. But yeah, there's the Defiler Mound coming up already for Alone. That'll give him the defense he needs to protect that third base. Always crucial for a Zerg player to protect their third base. That's usually the game changer. If the Terran can take down the third, they usually win the game. And if the Zerg can protect the third, they can usually, well, I don't want to say that Zerg can usually win, because Terran players have been messing with mines a lot in the past couple of seasons, but there's Flash. He's trying to go for those lurkers, but backing off. It's a good thing he did back off, and there is the first vulture out for Flash. This is what a lot of Terran players are doing these days, getting the mine research at the machine shop as well. So yeah, he's just going to lay mines all over the place to eliminate the lurker threat. Eliminating the lurker threat, absolutely key at this point. But here comes reinforcement troops, just kind of grouping up with the rest of the squad as Flash moves out with a bunch of medic marines and a couple of vultures, just trying to get inside the middle and pick off as many units as he can before he does this big attack. He's trying to get those units out of position so he can pick off some lurkers. If he picks off enough lurkers, I think the Flash will go after a base. But he has a science vessel, and he's going to start chasing lurkers soon with that science vessel up to the 2 o'clock base. I'm sure he knows about that base by now. Has to know about it by now. If he hasn't scanned it, that patented Flash star sense is probably kicking in by now. Okay, the science vessel coming up. 4th base being built at the 2 o'clock natural expansion. And here come the Nidus Canals. So Alone is going to try to protect this base. Once the reinforcements come in, that's probably when Flash is going to attack. I'm looking at his base right now. Additional factories coming down for Flash, just to get out even more pesky vultures for harassment later. And laying the mines, of course. And there's the armory being built. And the SCV building that armory was taken down, so Flash is going to have to get back on that quickly for those mech upgrades. If he's going to transition in the mech, which many Terran players do. But there's the Nidus Canal. Many lurkers coming out of the Nidus Canal. Flash pushing his luck, trying to surround these lurkers to the best of his ability. Has a science vessel in to see the lurkers, but Alone might be able to hold him off anyway. Just a couple of lurkers left. Flash did not anticipate all those lurkers coming down from the ramp. So he is kind of forced to retreat, and he lost about half, a little bit more than half of his troops attacking that base. So Alone's actually doing pretty well. If he can protect against one more attack, I think he'll be okay. He'll have 4 bases going, which should definitely put him over Flash as far as economy goes. Okay, let's take a look at Alone's base. Another evolution chamber for the ground upgrades coming up. Flash hanging outside with some vultures. Probably going to try to sneak by with those soon as he gets the vulture speed upgrade. There's some mutas attacking the 3rd base from Flash, floating down to the 6 o'clock position. So Flash trying to establish that 6 o'clock. He's going to have to come in with some kind of anti-air to get rid of this. Probably just a small marine squad, medic marine squad, going to protect against this. But here come the SCVs already being transferred over. And the command center did not get into red, so he won't have to repair that, luckily enough. There's some Dark Swarm at the front protecting Alone's 4th base. And Alone's doing pretty well as far as macro goes. Already has that 4th ready to go. No doubt Flash is going to be working on his 4th soon. I think he's already hovering down near the 5 o'clock position. Might do something down there soon. Build another command center. But he's transferring over with some more SCVs to the 6 o'clock. And it seems that Alone is doing the same to his natural expansion up at the 2 o'clock. Okay, got the 2 evolution chambers going. Scourge! 1 Scourge lands on the science vessel. But it would be critical at this point if a science vessel would go down. Oh my god, I'm on TV! Love the Korean teens. Oh, that sounded wrong. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's going to be quoted all over hell. Nuke loves Korean teens. Followed by heavy breathing. That's not what I meant. But anyway, the natural expansion for Flash being attacked again. Some lurkers on the high ground area. Still can't believe I said that. But the turrets should give the vision of those lurkers if Flash can drop something or at least get close with some medic and marines. Science vessels are going to handle this. I see. Irradiate of the 2 lurkers on top of the ridge. Just get rid of those, allow him to mine again. Because right now he's not mining much at all from that natural expansion. So Flash doing a scan, just trying to make sure that no more lurkers are dropped behind that base. Some overlords just kind of hanging out next to there, so it's hard to tell if Alone has something else up his sleeve. Dropping even more lurkers, perhaps? We'll find out soon, but so much Scourge sneaking in, and here come some more overlords, no doubt dropping something. The Defilers being dropped, the Dark Swarm, make it even more difficult to get rid of lurkers on that high ground area. But this is the first person perspective of Flash, seeing him micromanage a bit, and building a 5th base. Yes, he's building a 5th base, another one down at the 6 o'clock position. Yeah, you see some nice multitasking here from Flash, actually, dealing with all the threats at each of his bases. Yeah, he's dealing with a threat down to his 5 o'clock position, trying to make sure the Overlord gets nowhere near it. Okay, some more Overlords. Ooh, Overlords being sniped. But I don't think that, no, Alone is not in any danger of being supply capped anytime soon. He has plenty of Overlords. Just looking at his 99 over 159 population. Flash has a lot more troops, so Alone gotta start fighting as far as macro goes. Flash is kind of playing risky by building his 5th base very, very soon. Normally a Terran player will sit on 4 forever, but he's already building his 5th, trying to get that up and cooking. So Alone got to get in soon and deny that. He's doing some fairly good harassment of this natural expansion at least, but he needs to do even more multitasking as far as this harassment goes. He should be harassing 2 bases at once at this point. But so far, he's gone relatively unharassed at each of his 4 bases, so he's actually doing pretty well, keeping toe-to-toe with Flash. He has an awful lot of minerals in the tank, which could mean Ultralisk soon. But yeah, awful lot of minerals and gas in the tank for Alone. Flash is keeping his minerals and gas pretty low at this point. Okay, Flash establishing kind of a defensive perimeter right next to his 5 o'clock position, and starting to build a turret line there to protect against drops later, I think. But here comes some more Overlords into position. The Observer's pointing those out specifically, so they might try to come in for another drop, being intercepted by Flash's turrets. So they did have lurkers in them, so it looks like Alone was not quite paying attention once he ran into those turrets. He wasn't expecting turrets at that 9 o'clock. But Flash is already thinking ahead. Ooh, bind drag to a bunch of Zerglings. A whole lot of Zerglings went down. And I think most of these Zerglings are going to go down because of the unit composition that's just out in the field. Yeah, Flash is going for the patented fantasy everything build. Build every unit, because this is StarCraft, damn it. Oh, a lot more Zerglings going down to mind drags as well. So this 5th base from Alone is probably not going to last too much longer. The Vultures are right next to it, going to take out any drones that try to mine from that position, so he's got to get over there soon, or try to build a Nidus Canal or something to get up to this 12 o'clock. Yeah, coming in with the Zerglings, barely getting rid of all the Vultures, but he still has a huge mech army to deal with. Flash probably finished up his armory earlier. Yeah, he has his +1 upgrade for the ground troops, so he's already working on a mech, getting a huge mech army up. And it seems that Alone just hasn't been able to keep up with Flash in this game, because Flash has just muscled his way into a huge economy, has 6 bases going, and Alone had 4 early bases to start out with, but after that point he hasn't been able to do much with himself, besides a little bit of harassment of Flash's natural expansion. That's really all that Alone has gotten done in this game. And it takes an awful lot more than that to beat Flash, as you can see. Goliath marching up, Goliath online, up to the 12 o'clock position to destroy that hatchery. And that'll put Alone down to 4 hatcheries, and yeah, well, down to 4 bases, and it'll make it even more difficult to protect that natural expansion, which Flash is just camping outside of with his entire army. Has a long line of tanks at the natural expansion, just waiting for a few more reinforcements before he moves in, I think, or an upgrade. But the science vessels moving up with these troops. Crazy unit composition from Flash. I love the everything build. You never know what's going to happen, but some Ultras trying to protect that 12 o'clock position. They are not going to last too much longer because they were already softened up for these Irradiates. They are going to die from the Irradiates, which Ultras normally don't do, but they were already picked at a bit by medic and marines, no doubt. Okay, some more tanks, reinforcement tanks moving up, intercepting the Zerglings. And it seems that Flash, yes, look at all these tanks that Flash has. Once that Dark Swarm dies down, once he can get rid of the Defiler threat to the natural expansion, Flash is going to move in. It's going to be a nightmare. Oh, the eraser trick. Lone doesn't even know about this. Just loses his entire economy down here. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Alone. I'm sorry you had to face Flash in your first game. But although Alone is dropping on top of these tanks, he's kind of squirreled some troops away. Has lots of ultras to drop on top of these tanks, mind dragging into those tanks. And dropping right on top of them with ultras, which means they'll explode very quickly. But Flash still has more troops coming up. He has his reinforcement mech army and his squad of medic and marines that are pushing the 2 o'clock position, being fended off now by the Dark Swarm. But nevertheless, he's got 2 different types of units. Oh, nice plague though from Alone, keeping the bio troops away from the 2 o'clock. But the tanks, more and more tanks moving in for Flash. He has some tanks up at the 2 o'clock position as well. Just look at this crazy persistence from the Terminator, getting closer and closer. He's not afraid of ultras. You kidding me? It's freaking Flash, man. Terminators are not afraid of big bug things. Big bug elephants. Or cows, as they're more commonly called. But some more ultras being pumped by Alone. Since he had the 4 bases as long as he did, he was able to squirrel away a lot of minerals. I mentioned that earlier, how many minerals and gas he had in the tank. And he was saving up for ultras, but ultras take a lot of bases to fully support. I mean, after this wave of ultras, I don't think Alone's going to have much else to deal with this. He spent so much on these ultras, and they're just not doing it for him. GG from Alone. Flash had camped out behind the natural expansion. He was ready to take out everything, all the critical tech buildings. So, Alone taps out. Okay, guys, let's move on to the second set. Calm versus Grape.